Oh yeah, Black Sun and the Hizzle, all for shizzle dizzle. Sorry about the last show. I got a phone call, but this is going to be a continuation of the last show. Now, the last show. Well, no, actually, I can't because the last show dealt with the everybody being on the Epstein list. So I think I made my point. So actually, now I can pivot to a whole nother conversation. That being stupocracy. Stupocracy. I was inspired to do this show because of the conscripts that are being kidnapped to go to the front lines of Russia because Russia has basically gotten more aggressive with their summer campaign, looking to take more oblasts. They have promised to take more oblasts. They just have taken Luhansk, and looks like they have their eyes set on Sumy. Uh, I want to say Odessa, Kharkiv. There are several other territories that they plan on, and they're using the same crescent moon maneuver. They surround and then they just close in, surround, close in. I call it the crescent moon maneuver. Um, I'm sure there's a Russian terminology for it, and if y'all give me time, I will learn it in due time because very impressive maneuver. But Ukraine is a small country, so I'm assuming that maneuver is easy to maneuver to execute. Although NATO is beating the drum, like they want to go to war with Russia now, and they will get the same crescent moon treatment if they force Putin to cross that line. Apparently, Putin will not cross. I don't think Putin will cross Poland, but what NATO plans to do, and I suspect, this is what I suspect, they will send NATO troops into Ukraine. And once one of them, now let's not get it twisted. Ukraine um, territories. There have been Americans, there have been uh, European, there have been South American, Brazilian, there have been mercenary troops that are not necessarily from Ukraine that have been killed. And so this is why NATO reacts the way they do towards Putin because of the casualties that, and I'm guessing there are some American casualties. I'm assuming there are some American mercenaries over there. They'll take anybody. They're paying very well to go over there and be part of this stupocracy. You know, um, I've said time and time again, there's nothing wrong with defending, fighting, and defending this country here. But going over there when they have a home field advantage, I don't think is wise. Now, the average, how can I put this? The average soldier, the average American, and the average law enforcement, I think are pretty much the same when it comes to foreign policy. I think American citizens, law enforcement, and military, um, they are concerned about what's going on here in America, their finances, living situation, families, domestic concerns, taxes, property taxes, assets, that kind of stuff. So we're really rooting for Trump. All of us are rooting for Trump on a level of hoping that these tariffs work for the advantage of the American economy. So I'm rooting for Trump, obviously, because Trump wasn't bad in his first term as far as the economy, the gas prices, food prices, and everything. So, which now brings me to, so there's no confusion because I've heard people leave a comment, MAGA with a question mark. Let's not get it confused. You have Trump's domestic policy and Trump's foreign policy. Okay? Two different policies. Now, can they be interconnected? Sure, they can be. In the long run, sure. Why not? They can be interconnected, sure. But um, as of right now, I don't think your average American law enforcement, average military doesn't tie the knots. I think there's only maybe 5% of us that tie the knot as far as the foreign policy, because there's really not really, the mega base is really concerned about here and now. What can you do here and now? Gas prices, food prices, the domestic concerns. There are very few of us that are really concerned. Shout out to Douglas McGregor. Shout out to Daniel. Shout out to all the shows that I watch, man. If I missed anybody, I know I missed a whole bunch of people. There's a whole bunch of people on YouTube that really are honing in on this. John Ritter, uh, Judge Napolitano. There are a bunch of people who I follow that follow this Ukraine situation thoroughly. And shout out to Judge Napolitano. He actually follows the Israel, Iran, Gaza, Hamas situation to the T, which I have not been following, but that's tied together. Now they're forcing it, like NATO wants to jump it off with China. They want to jump it off with Iran. So it's like, yeah, let's make this a world war, is what NATO's saying. And I'm like, NATO, y'all can't even handle Africa. Shout out to Ibrahim Traore of Burkina Faso, who's also making moves. Burkina Faso, while the rest of the world is picking sides, Africa is doing their things, and most African nations are lowering those borders, whatever European borders that divide them, and they're looking at Ibrahim Traore and saying, yeah, this is just, he's a common sense figurehead for Africa. And we've been suffering them, these Europeans, these NATOs, these United Nations taking out our resources. Now, in the past, I think Ibrahim Traore deserves his own video, because they're definitely coming out of the stupacracy. They have come out of the stupacracy. They're like thinking, they're like, yo, this ain't making sense. And people are rallying behind Thierry, not only people in Burkina Faso, but outside African countries. And not only outside African countries, but you got India, who's recognizing Burkina Faso, and you got some other major powers, of course, China, North Korea, Russia. China, North Korea, Russia. Of course, you got them. They are going to be the military arm that backs whoever decides they want smoke with Africa. Now, let me say this real quick. ECOWAS is pretty much done. EAES is the new force in Africa. So let's put aside Africa for one bit. Shout out to Ibrahim Traore. I want to, in fact, let me see, little side note, I'm a little rambling. I want to get the whole outfit and be Ibrahim Traore for Halloween. So now, let me put that just aside for a minute. Let's get back to the stupacracy, because Africa is definitely coming out of the stupacracy. That means somebody has to step in the stupacracy. I would say the Ukrainians, again, I think I said this last videos, the Ukrainians have to overthrow Zelensky and whatever regime that is the puppet of, they don't even want to be part of NATO, from what I'm understanding. They do not want to be part of NATO. The Ukrainians do not want to be. So shout out to the people of Ukraine. The people that always say, oh, Slavic Ukraine, this and that and the other. I get it. They feel like their homeland is being attacked, but at the same time, y'all are being duped. You guys are being duped to thinking that, this Russian war and all that, you guys going back and forth, Russia, it's hard, I guess, to, I don't, I wouldn't even say it's hard. I think the Ukrainian people understand, like that's why I say when you see the conscripts that don't want to go to war, I think they know what time it is. I think they know the dupe. I think they know they're being had by Zelensky and his regime and NATO. So I will say this. I support this Democratic Republic. I support Trump. I support MAGA. But I will not support a stupacracy. And NATO is suffering from the stupacracy. and all of Europe, that being, well, let me say all of Europe, because Hungary is stepping out of the Stupacracy, Slovakia is stepping out of Stupacracy, but France is jumping headfirst, Germany, England, and I guess they're pressuring Trump because we obviously got some people that want to jump into Stupacracy. Um, but the thing is that people, Trump is saying one thing 1 minute, one thing. I don't know if he's playing the good cop, bad cop. Apparently he is, but Trump, I've said this and I've said this again. Don't try to play Putin. Putin sees right through it. You guys have screwed Putin with the Minsk one, Minsk two accords. They're not going for it. They're way ahead of us when trying to run game. Like that's why I was saying Trump has to be straightforward with Putin. So Trump, you were bullshitting Putin first. Given you shall receive. Given you shall receive. And so I'm gonna just say that. And the only way to end that war is to stop funding Ukraine. But again, I'm not going to even say we should leave it up to Trump. It comes down to Ukrainian people, man. Y'all got to wake up before y'all are utterly destroyed. Damn, you guys got to wake up. But I know it's only so much y'all can do against that damn military regime. The men are going to have to come together and just do what y'all got to do, man. Because yes, Zelensky's going to send y'all to y'all doom. Damn. But y'all got to do it because it's either you're doomed on the front lines facing Russian, or you can damn surrender, or you can goddamn be patriotic to your country and overthrow that damn government. So with that being said, y'all, I'm out.